morning and welcome to Vigilantes TV. Today I'm joined by Stephen Wilson-Smith, credit analyst at M&G, covering the retail and consumer goods space. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Wolfgang.
Stephen, there are two football shirts ominously lying on the table in front of us. Let's please not focus on which of the two shirts may or may not be marginally more popular these days, but back to retail. You're the sector expert. If I, as a consumer, wanted to purchase such an item, what would be the best place for me to go?
Well, it's really no surprise that Amazon shares have done so well in recent years, and they've surpassed Walmart. It's just that online is so easy. If you know what you want to buy, you can price compare very quickly. You can have it delivered to you the next day. Really, online is the easiest way to go.
And is this Amazon effect the reason why we have been seeing such a high number of shop closures on UK high streets? We had Fraser, Toys R Us, House of Fraser, just to mention a few. Should we be alarmed? It almost feels like it's a retail graveyard out there.
Well, I think graveyard is a little bit too strong, but there's definitely casualties as a result of this channel shift. Every year, there's more and more people who are buying things online and less on the high street. So that means high street retailers have to really shrink their retail footprint, and they have to improve their online service offering. And they need to do that quickly because the consumer is changing quickly. And those who don't do it quickly enough won't make it. What makes it more difficult in the UK is you have a long lease structure. So it makes it more difficult for retailers to very quickly reduce their retail footprint.
And is everyone in the sector affected roughly equally, or are there differences?
No, it depends on what you sell. So, for example, for sporting goods or for electronics in particular, the consumer is already online. You've had Amazon, you've had ASOS, which have taken market share, moved very quickly. However, in things like packaged food and alcoholic beverages, where the last mile delivery is quite expensive, there's much lower online penetration. But if you take a category which is sort of in between, say beauty, where the online is maybe 5, 6, 7% of sales, L'Oreal, the largest cosmetics company, last year sold $2.1 billion worth online. And that's, for them, bigger than all of Latin America. And it's growing very quickly.
And what is driving these changes?
Well, I think it's two things, a combination of demographics and technology. So now there are 3.5 billion people who have access to the internet. And there's a millennial effect. You now have 2 billion millennials worldwide. And they shop differently than previous generations. They don't go online, they live online. So take the packaged food industry. It used to be that a packaged food company would be having to compete and fight for space with a food retailer who was happy to work with a large branded company, but also wanted to have their own brands on store shelves. That dynamic was very difficult for a new entrant to come in and try to vie for some shelf space. But now the largest selling ice cream in the US is Halo Top. This is a company that didn't exist 6 years ago, and it's displaced Ben & Jerry and Häagen-Dazs. That sort of situation would be unthinkable a decade ago, and it's all due to this online shift.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Very helpful indeed. From my perspective as a bond fund manager, I think what it ultimately comes down to is that we have to be highly selective when taking exposure to the retail and consumer goods space. And in particular, we have to scrutinize and analyze in great detail the company's digital strategies alongside their credit and cash flow metrics in order to properly assess business and financial risks. Looking at the week ahead, the most anticipated economic data set will be US CPI inflation numbers on Thursday. As for politics, two topics are likely to dominate the news flow: the turbulences within Theresa May's government here in the UK and the ongoing trade tensions. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great week.